Oh, what's going on? Here's your mentor here for my monthly live. My name is Edwin Deras, based out of Rockville, Maryland. And what's it called? I own five retail stores, which is five financial service centers where we do different transactions like money transfers, and also own three jewelry stores. In addition to that, I also sell some products on Amazon as well. So that's a little bit about myself. I'm gonna get right to the questions. So the first question here is from Liv Gruber, and the question they asked is, how do you pay yourself from your business? Business description: I'm going to start paying myself and want to know the best way to do so. Should I be paid as a W-2 employee, 1099 contractor, or is there another strategy? Our company is an LLC. So it's a great question. And matter of fact, my personal trainer actually asked me this because he also works for himself. He's the only person working. He's the trainer. He doesn't have a staff of people that work with him. And I told him what I'll tell you guys is it's always good to consult with your accountant. I feel like this is a great question. You want to ask your accountant, like, how should I pay myself? They're gonna guide you. They're gonna set up all the payroll stuff for you. If you kind of start wanting to figure things out on your own, I think that would be a very big mistake. Mainly just because there's a lot of things that go into in receiving a paycheck and all that stuff. So like there's taxes that might need to be taken out. There's monthly taxes that you need to be paying on a monthly basis, and if you get behind on that stuff, it can be very costly. And I say that from personal experience because I try to do that type of stuff by myself, and eventually got into owing more than $60,000 of payroll taxes that eventually I had to go on a payment plan for, and plus penalties and interest and a bunch of other stuff. And so I learned my lesson. So I always say, go to an accountant. But as far as what I pay myself. I mean, I am an employee of my own company, so I guess I receive a check. I do receive a payroll check. What I will say for me, like if you're kind of getting started and stuff, I'm not sure what. Let me see here. I'm gonna start paying myself. Okay, so you're gonna start paying myself. I'm assuming that, so like you're kind of getting started with your company. So what I would say is that you definitely kind of just you want to look at your expenses also and see like what paycheck do you need. But as far as how I did it, I would just pay myself the expenses that I needed, like what I needed to cover my expenses, and then I'll leave everything in the company. But as far as how to pay yourself, I would definitely sit down with your accountant and do that. And if you don't have an accountant, that's okay. Just get one. Okay. It kind of sucks sometimes because you have to pay. You have to pay somebody to receive a paycheck and all this stuff. But in the end, you're gonna receive a bigger benefit because like now that you're paying yourself and you set yourself up right, then when you hire new people to come on board with you, everything's gonna be all set up. And so that way your company's set up to bring on new people, if it's contractors or if it's new W-2 employees, and then the system will already be set up where you add another person in the payroll tax system. It just gets done every month or every quarter, however it gets set up for you. So definitely get in contact with an accountant, get set up, say I want to start paying myself, and then get that going. And then if and when you get an employee, if you want to hire more people, you'll be ready and set to go in that aspect. So that's how I would answer that one. All right, number 2, Kristen Lattis. She asks, what do you do when a client has not paid the remaining balance from a project completed over 2 months ago? Business description and background of question. I'm a copywriter for online entrepreneurs. I completed a website copy for a client. She paid 50% up front, but has not paid the last 50%. She does not answer my DMs or emails. So, elevator pitch: I write sales copy for online coaches launching product services who want to grow their business through persuasive writing. All right, so I'm glad you asked this. So one of the things that I do is I cash checks for contractors and different people that have businesses and stuff like that. So I deal with collections on a regular basis. So I have a bit of experience actually collecting stuff that bounces and things that have to be paid and payment plans and stuff like that. So number one, I would just let me see here. You said you did DMs and emails. I would just pick up the phone. So like let me see here. Number one, she would say, okay. So yeah, I would just I would just call her up and I would just say, hey Mary, just following up with you. What's it called? We finished the website and I was noticing that we had a past due balance of $5,500. When do you think you would be able to make the payment for the remaining balance? And then just see what she says, right? And either she says, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to ignore you. This and that," and then she'll pay it right then, or she'll tell you when she's gonna pay it, and then you just follow up with her when she says she's gonna pay it. So she says, "You know what? I'm gonna make a payment next Saturday," and then I would just follow up with her on next Saturday and call her again and be like, "Hey, Mary, I'm just following up with you. I want to see, just following up to see if, about the payment for the remaining balance." And then she either pay you or she'll kind of keep it going like that. And then in that case, that's when you can kind of set up. You can ask her like, "Hey, do you want to do a payment plan? You know, I understand you're going through a tough situation, maybe, or you don't even have to say that. You know, I understand what I can do for you if it's I know it's a big hefty fee. What I can do for you is I can break it up into payments, and usually what I do is someone owes me, I don't know, $1,000, $2,000. I'll just let them know what I want. The ultimate goal is to get paid. So I might say like, look, as long as you pay me, $100 a week, $50 a week, whatever you can do, then we'll just take it from there. And then if they say, you know what, yeah, I could do that, $50 a week, $100 a week, and then that way you actually get paid for the 5,000. Let's say that you're owed, or if it's 5,000, maybe a little bit more, but at least you want some payments to get in versus losing the whole 5,000 that you're owed. So I would do that. If she doesn't pick up the phone, what I usually do is I just follow up with a little bit of a text. I might call her, and then I might send a text and say, "Hey, Mary, can you give me a call when you get a chance? Thanks." Just let her call you back. And if she doesn't respond, I will call back maybe later in the day, and then just follow up with another text. Be like, "Hey, Mary, be like, hey, Mary, hey, Mary, we still have I was checking your account. We still have a pending balance of 5,000 for the project that we completed. When would you be able to make a payment on this?" And see if she gives you a response. So I would just keep calling, and then I would just do that, and eventually she's gonna answer you most likely. And if she doesn't, she completely ignores you. If you called her, let's say one day, another day, another day, another day. What we do, we go to visit their house. If someone owes me $2,000 and I just let it go, I have to go visit. At least my last attempt is I have to go visit their house. So I go like I don't know how if they live nearby you, if they live in another state or if they live far away from you, like 10 hours, it's like 4 hours away, then you might just have to like leave it at that, or maybe pass it on to a collection agency, maybe. But if they're nearby or if they're local, then you might just want to visit, go knock on their door and just say, and go in there with the letter. I usually go with the letter that says, basically says what's owed. I was like, to whom it may concern, we cashed this check from this company, paid out to this person for a total of this amount. This check came back returned non-sufficient funds. In order to avoid legal action, we need to get paid this plus the return fee. You can also mail the money to this address, and then signed Edwin Deras, for example. So you might want to do a letter, or you consult with somebody maybe to make the letter, but something simple is sufficient. And then you take that letter with you, and then you kind of knock on the door and just ask, "Hey, is Mary home?" If Mary's gonna be there, and you just, "Hey, I was following up with this balance that we have pending. I've been trying to get a hold of you." And then they're gonna be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. I've been so busy. And I'm gonna pay it." So usually they'll pay it. And if they don't answer the phone, they don't answer the door, then you can just leave the letter there. Just leave the door on the door, and then usually they'll call you back. And then the next day you call them, you can call them back in a day or two, and usually now that they see that you left a letter at their house, they'll probably pick up the phone this time, and then that will kind of get you open up the line of communication with that person. And then the process will repeat. Then she'll probably answer the phone, and then you'll be able to set up a payment plan or whatever it is, and then she'll maybe pay you. And then worst case scenario, she doesn't answer the phone. She said, "No, I'm not going to pay you." And then that's where you probably leave it at that point. If she says she's not going to pay you, I don't really go to civil court for any type of thing, so I don't know if you want to waste your time suing the person. You could go to that route. I'm not sure if it's worth it though, because the lawyers will probably charge you a bunch to just collect, and you might waste more money doing that. But you can look into that. So I would do that process and see how it goes for you. But definitely don't do. I wouldn't just do DMs or emails. You have to pick up the phone in order to kind of follow up with somebody, because of a DM or a text, people will ignore. It's very easy to ignore. All right, next question from Nancy Lopez. How do I figure out the value proposition to a buyer for a product like mine? I design jewelry for women, and I want to understand better what is my product's value proposition, considering I'm not fulfilling a need. Mine is more entertainment and emotion. I'm struggling with this since I only see it as a non-essential product. I design and make jewelry that cherishes women's deepest emotions. Okay. So this is a great question. I have a lot of things I could say about this. So, well, number one, I would just ask you, like, how long, like, I kind of have an idea, but, like, how long have you been in business? What's worked for you so far? What hasn't worked for you so far? But when I hear, like, you said, like, your question is, how do I design I design jewelry for women? How do I figure out the value proposition for a product like mine? What I'm thinking that you want to solve is you want to get more sales on it. I think that's what you like. This, if you had 10 times to 100 times more sales, I think that this question maybe go away. I think what you're wanting to do is you want to be able to sell your product to the people that would get it in their hands. And you're saying your product is not a need. I mean, I sell jewelry myself. I sell it in 3 jewelry stores, so it's not a need, but people buy it. It's I kind of posted it with my flex. We're selling like 2 to 3 times more than we sold last year. So it's not a need, but people still have a desire to, like, for example, I guess food is a need, but, like, going out to restaurants is, you could just eat at home, but, like, it's a better experience if you go to a restaurant, right? So people still want to go out, and so the same thing with jewelry. People still want to wear jewelry. So people still want to buy it, and so you got to kind of find your demographic and stuff like that. So I would just kind of take a look at what's worked for you so far, and take it from there. And then you might, like, seeing different strategies, you might have to kind of look at a course, hone in on what it is that you who is your demographic, what is your value proposition. But, like, I think it just kind of goes to, you got to kind of figure it out. You have to kind of test different things out. Maybe go through a course, bring out the value proposition that you want. But more so, I think overall, it's maybe just kind of immersing yourself in and getting this business better and being able to increase your revenue and increase your earnings and see what works and kind of try out different strategies. So that's what I'll recommend about that. I think you kind of want to go head first and see what will work for you, and that might involve hiring a coach, hiring somebody that has jewelry stores, hiring someone that has a website, and kind of going down that way to kind of, increase the revenue in your business. And then, all right, so let's go to the next question. Nancy Lopez asks another question, and she says, what would be great scripts for selling jewelry to retailers? Business description and background. I design jewelry for women that connects them with life moments. I'm starting in the jewelry business. I'm new in my city and I don't speak the local language, Dutch. I will approach potential clients in English, and I want to make sure I have great scripts to close the sales. I will approach potential clients in English, and I want to make sure I have great scripts to close the sales. Elevator pitch. I design and make jewelry that cherishes women's deepest emotions. Okay. So again, Nancy, this is a great question. So, like, this is what I would say. I feel like, let me see here. What I kind of wrote little notes here. Okay, so So behind the question that you're asking, because your question is, what would be great scripts for selling jewelry to retailers? So underlying the question that you're asking is like, you want to be able to sell more jewelry to retailers, right? That's what you want to do. And so you kind of want to look at it from the perspective of scripts, which is great. But there's a lot of that goes into this question. And then number two, another thing I would say is like a website business is completely different than selling to jewelry stores. And if you're a one person company, it's kind of difficult to kind of split your focus, right? So I'm not saying that you should focus on one, but like you're gonna have to. I would see like, okay, what has worked better for you so far? You know, has it been selling to jewelry stores? Has it been website? I would double or triple down on what's working for you. What do you see the most growth in the last month? You know, and you might want to kind of take it from there. Maybe the website, you can even have a website for the jewelry retailers. That could be another option as well, right? If you're kind of thinking, okay, jewelry website for consumers, but what about a jewelry website for the jewelry retailers that you have? Maybe that could be a separate domain name or something like that you can, I don't know if you have on your card, or maybe it's the same right now. Maybe one can be focused just for jewelry retailers. That way, you know, okay, she's a jewelry, you know, she supplies jewelry to jewelry stores like me. But what if a jewelry store goes to your website and they think that, okay, she's selling to consumers, but she's selling to me? Like that can, you know, can cause a confusion in that aspect, right? So I would just say that, and I would ask you, like, what have you done so far? Like, how many jewelry retailers have you visited so far? You know, what have you said to them so far? What have been their objections? What have been what positive responses have you gotten so far? You know, how many have you made sales to jewelry retailers? You know, and so just kind of see what are the products that your jewelry retailers are carrying. Is your product similar to it, or is it like completely different where they wouldn't maybe want to carry it? So you kind of want to look at that, and then once you start getting a couple clients, then you're gonna see, okay, this person bought my product. What other jewelry stores are there that are similar to this one that I can sell my products, my jewelry to, right? So it's kind of, you got to test, talk to another retailer, test, talk, and the more that the more people that you visit, you know, the better chances that you're gonna have. Okay, so you don't have to be perfect, right? As far as talking to them, you know, they're the jewelry store owners. You know, they're human, just like, you know, me and you and stuff like that. So the key is just test out with 20 people, 20 businesses. That kind of takes, you know, it could take some time, but once you test like 5 or 10 or 20, you're gonna start to see that people appreciate, you know, you just going to them and visiting them and asking them and telling them, look, this is what I do. This is my website. I offer these types of products. These are some samples of some products that I carry. And then the retailers are most likely going to want, many retailers are going to want terms. You know, I get terms of maybe a month to 3 months, you know, I've gotten up to 6 months and stuff from my vendors, right? So they're gonna want to know, what are your terms? Like, do you give credit? You know, can I give you a post-dated check? You know, you're gonna have to want to know what kind of terms are you gonna give, or if you're not gonna give terms, right? So I'm not sure how it is how it is over where your area is, right? But I'm gonna assume that maybe we might want terms on getting the jewelry and stuff like that. So that's something you want to consider for sure. And then what else did I kind of put here? I guess that's the main thing that I would just say about that. Yeah, I would just say that I would do testing out and then kind of rinsing, repeating, and then just kind of seeing what works and what doesn't. That way you can refine your scripts process, right? All right, perfect. All right, next question is Heather Brockman. Question they asked: what are some good responses when your employees are constantly saying how tired they are, comparing themselves to you, saying they aren't robots like me? Business description and background of question. My groomers work 4 days as a full-time shift, and most of the time they have 10-hour days. Most have a bather with them. I get so tired of hearing how tired they are all the time. I lay out potential for them to make more money than any other company in Houston. Yet all I hear is how overworked they are, no matter how many dogs they have. It irritates me to no end hearing it on a daily basis and then having them tell me, I'm not you, Heather. I don't ask them to do anything I wouldn't or haven't done. And in fact, they do less dogs than I ever did when I was working. So my responses are getting snappy. Does anyone deal with this? And what are some good ways to counteract this? What I perceive as lazy attitude. Elevator pitch. We offer high-end holistic grooming experiences for busy pet owners whose animals are part of the family. Okay, this is a great question. Like I always think all questions are great because in the reality, if you're asking a question, that means you want to get better, right? So all these are great questions. Okay, so number one, I would just say. So I put a couple of things down here. So like, I'm curious to know. For one, when are they saying they're most tired? At the beginning of the day, middle of the day, end of the day, or is it just like at all moments? At every chance that they get, they text you and they call you, Heather, I'm tired. You know, they text you, Heather, I'm tired. Like, or is it when you're around, Heather, I'm tired? Like when you show up, in between, what's it called? In between appointments, Heather, I'm tired. Like how often? Is it the same person every day? Is it different people? Is it every single person on your staff? Is there someone that's not saying they're tired, right? That's number one. I'm just curious to know what that is. And then number two thing that I would say is like, from my experience, I feel like employees, if they know they can push a button on you, like to get you mad, I feel like they try to do that. They kind of try to play like, Heather, I'm mad. And they're like, they see she's going to get pissed. Watch. Heather, I'm mad. Heather, I'm mad. Like, they're just seeing you getting mad. Like, sometimes employees will want to just push a button, you know? And I'm not saying it's correct. I'm just saying that sometimes that happens. So I would just kind of say that. And sometimes what I'll say is this, like, I feel like sometimes it's important to agree with them. Sometimes, like, for example, because this happens to me too, right? Like, I can't think the top of my head, but like I would say like if like they might try to say something to me and I just go along with it. I'll just be like, yeah, I like what I would say in this situation, what I've done when they would say comments that would kind of annoy me, I would just listen to them and say, you know what, that sounds perfectly fine and I understand that. Or like if they try to say something that kind of maybe try to hurt my feelings or something, I might just say, no, I can see what you mean for sure, or something, agree with them, right? Kind of harmonize, what Tom Black would say, harmonize with what they say, right? But what I would say is like sometimes just agreeing with them, like, oh, you're tired. Oh, definitely. How's the day been? How's your day been? How was your last appointment? How is Mary's dog doing, by the way? You know, kind of just have a conversation with them. Sometimes the employees just want to be heard. They want you to hear them out. Like, Heather, I'm tired, and you're like, dude, like I used to do 20 dogs a day, and you're only doing 5 dogs. Like, what do you think? Like, who do you think you are? So like, you know, like if I were to like the person might be like, damn, like she can't even like understand like where I'm coming from, right? But like if someone says to me, Edwin, I'm tired, I might say like, I bet, like how's it been going today? How busy has it been today? You know, how's your last appointments been? You know, how did the last cleaning go? The last dog, you know, whatever it is that you guys are doing with the dog. So I would just kind of go in, have a conversation with them. I feel like sometimes they just want to be heard. They just want to be understood. They just want you to know that you care. And that's what I do. Sometimes, like, you know, a lot of my messages with my staff is over employees. They say a joke. I might get on the phone. I might just talk to them and just kind of know that, hey, look, I'm here. You know, I don't just think of you as a person that works for me. You're kind of like, you know, you're in this together. We're in this together. I do care. And so, like, I would just say that. I would just kind of try to diffuse the situation, and then I'll even put on here because I know you said about you know, Heather, I'm not a robot like you. I'm like, damn, you're not a robot? Well, robots don't die, right? Or something to diffuse the situation and kind of like, you know, just kind of turn it into a joke. You're not a robot? You should be, or something. I don't know, something funny to diffuse the situation. And I feel like just turning a, you know, little comments like that, turning them around into the joke is a lot better than just kind of getting angry at them for making comments like that. Because at the end of the day, they are there. You are the boss. They are helping you grow your company, helping you grow your dreams, right? And what I would just say is that at the end of the day, like for example, like let's say I have some employees that will do things that will piss me off, right? And I'll just be like, God damn it. But like, I'm like, you know what? That person is like number one salesperson. So like, it's not that they're like creating a bad culture, but I would just say sometimes it's like, who cares? Like if they try to like do things that like sometimes they'll try to stand up for themselves when doing certain things or saying certain things. But sometimes I just try to put myself in their shoes because they do like like your groomers work long hours. My employees also work hours, like 10-hour shifts, 10-hour shifts, and so like they'll work long hours. And so I'm just like, hey, I'm allowed to work from an office. They're attending customers right now. My business is growing. My business is growing year over year. They're implementing the things that are the new things that we're coming out with. So they're allowing me to kind of grow this company, grow this business, be better, and like they're allowing me to, if I need to if I want to go to my son's baseball camp, I can. You know, yesterday I went to my son's baseball game. I was there. I was able to do that, right? If I need to go AO conference, I can go because you know I have my staff covering me. So like what I'm saying is I try to like look at it from their perspective as they allow me to get the time freedom, right? And then number 3 thing that I put on here, because you did mention about the compensation plan, right? So like this is what I'll say, because like I started finally implementing a better compensation plan for my employees this year as far as like the jewelry commissions, and like like I mentioned earlier, like our sales more than doubled in the last year by implementing incentives and stuff like that. What I'll say is like some people are interested in incentives more so than others. So some people will like definitely respond to incentives. Some people are like the people that were last in sales before are still last in sales now, even with incentive, but their sales did go up, right? So what I'm saying is like some people like incentives are good. And what's it called? Sometimes also look recognition. Like so let's say like if you give up a compensation plan, something that you might want to do, like I don't know, like what I would say, something that I do, for example, like for X amount of for every $1,000, the number one salesperson will get like a $25 gift card. So like if someone sells $4,000 in a week, they'll get a $100 gift card. The number one person. So that's kind of an extra thing. But I try not to only give $100. I also give like an add-on gift, like something random, but like it could be like I don't know. I gave like one of the Dr. Seuss books and like a Dr. Seuss doll the other day, right? And just kind of praising that person in front of everybody, like or like we have a group chat and be like, hey, by the way, this week's winner with the most sales was Mariella, and you know the gift for this week is $100 gift is this Steve Madden's flip flops, which cost me like $15 at Marshalls, and $100 gift card. Congratulations, Mariella. Tell us what you did this week or something like that. So I'm saying is like sometimes giving the compensation, but maybe like a miscellaneous gift and just kind of praising them. Sometimes that will go even further than just let's say the $100 gift card for us, for example. So I would just say that. And then let me see, number 4 I put on here. When you say you never asked them to do anything you've done. Okay, so like you also mentioned, like I would never ask them to do anything that I've never done. And so number 1, what I would say about that is like you're an overachiever. Like that's why you're the owner of the company, right? So like I would have things I would say that about myself too, right? But like what I say about like what you said, like you're an overachiever. That's why you are the owner of the company. That's why you probably hustle to do maybe say 20 dogs in one day where somebody else is only doing 5 or something like that. And so like maybe you could say like maybe you can find someone that will do that, but that might be the exception because like let's say not everybody would want to. Let's say not everybody is the owner of the company, right? Of Heather Mobile Pet Grooming, right? But what I would just say is that not everybody's going to be as a hustler and like have that hard work ethic, but it's okay. Like sometimes I think it's just about listening to them. I think, and that might shift their attitude and stuff like that. And they might still say that, but I think it's okay. I think. And so anyway, so that's what I'll conclude with that, and then I'm gonna move on to the next question. The next question is from Ashley Latourneau. The question they asked is, should I do Groupons or Facebook ads? Business description. I am on a residential and commercial cleaning company. I have done Groupon in the past. It generated about $400 a week for me in revenue. However, Groupon took 17% of the already discounted sale. It did then be some regular clients that I was able to upsell. I'm green when it comes to running my own Facebook ads, and the quotes that have gotten from Facebook ad experts are a little bit out of my budget and only a lead, as Groupon already sells a lead. All right, awesome. So this is a great question again. You're looking to see, how can I grow my company, right? How can you grow your company to the next level? And so, like, should you do Groupons or Facebook ads? So what I would ask you is, what's leading you to do Groupons in the first place, right? Is what you're doing right now not getting you the growth that you want? I'm assuming that's a yes, right? You want to grow more than where you're at, right? So I would say that first, and then let me see what else I put here. What can you do to drive? Okay, so like what I would ask you also is like what have you done? What have you done to drive revenue in the past? Have you done just word of mouth? Have you never done anything? Have you done flyers? Have you done events? What have you done to drive new clients in the past? How many clients do you have now, and how did you get those? So you said you did Groupons, and that created some consistent, sustainable customers. What percentage of those are? If it's only 5%, where did you get the other 95% of your customers? Okay, and so I would look, where did you get those? And if you got those other customers not using Groupons, my question is, what if you doubled or tripled down on what you've done in the past in order to get even more customers like the ones that you have now, right? I feel like if you do that, instead of doing Groupons, because Groupons, just from the outside looking in, I never done a Groupon, but like from the outside looking in, it sounds like expensive maybe, but I don't know the exact numbers behind what you said. You said you did get some upsell customers, but like if you did what you've done in the past to get more customers, but like let's say you did flyers, but you did it like for a month, but then you got clients from that, and you never did it again. But what if you did that and you did it again and you doubled down on that and you were able to get more clients? So I would just look at, what have you done in the past that to get the clients that you have now besides Groupon? And what if you were to double or triple down on that in order to get, more of the type of clients that you want? Because I'm also going to ask you, when you did Groupon, you said you were able to upsell some of them. So like, did those clients pay off for the lower rate? I was just curious to know how that works. So I would just kind of look, what is a more sustainable model for you? So I would just kind of take a look at that part, and then yeah, I would just say that, and then yeah, and I also put on here, you're getting ideal clients from Groupon. Like, it just sounds like someone like on Groupon maybe might just want to be getting a deal, and then maybe not come back. But I'm wrong, because you've done it before, so you have more information about that. But you kind of have to check that out. And as far as the Facebook ads, you said you had the Facebook ad experts are a little bit out of your budget. So if they're out of your budget, I would just kind of X that out, because you don't want to do something that's going to be out of your budget. Like, you don't want to do something that's kind of like leave you low on cash flow, right? Because your business, right, to survive and to continue to grow, you want to have enough cash on hand for any type of emergency that pops up, right? So if it's out of your budget, I would stay away from it. I personally would stay away from something if it's out of my budget, I don't want to know about it. But because I'm assuming it's something that you have to pay on a monthly basis. Like, let's say if it's $5,000 a month forever. If you're gonna do that, you might, if you really wanted to like up your game in Facebook ads, maybe you might want to save or something in order to be able to do something like that. But I don't know if it's so expensive, it might not make sense if it's out of your budget. Okay, perfect. So next question, Sam Nika. Question they asked: what do you think the best method to learning e-commerce is? Dropshipping, getting a small inventory and doing it yourself. I thought about dropshipping and my own inventory requires storage and more work. Is there any advice or suggestions? Thank you. So Sam, this is a great question. Like I said, all these are great questions, right? And it's not that you can't do something and you're getting into e-commerce now, then it's kind of like a seamless transition. And I feel like any business, I feel like your question says, right? Your question says, what do you think the best method of learning e-commerce is? I feel like the question could also be, how do you be a successful business owner? It's both the same thing. And the same thing that I would answer with how do you be thing about like any business. It's like e-commerce, there's so many different things. So there's like Shopify, there's like what you're talking about, drop shipping, there's Amazon, there's eBay,